guys, welcome to Kids on the Couch. We're so excited for today. We are going to be building so many things. So let's get started. Hey girls, are you there?
Thanks, Miss Jen. Hey guys, are you ready for your riddle today? We're gonna do things a little bit differently. So pay attention while I explain how it's gonna work. Now, moving forward, we're going to do our riddle, but you're not going to get the answer until the announcements come at the end of Kids on a Couch. So, I want you to write down in the comment section all the answers that you think it could possibly be. And maybe for each correct answer, we'll add some triples to the triple jar. So, there's some incentive for you to participate and make the most of this. Okay. Now, are you ready for our riddle this week? What can speak without a tongue and listen without ears? Think about that. Type it in the comments if you think you know the answer, and we'll check back with you at announcements. Now, let's see if Miss Taylor is ready for the activity with you guys. Hey, Miss Taylor, are you ready to start the activity?
Thanks, Tessa. Okay, you might be wondering why we're talking into a cup and a string. Let me tell you why. Because you can actually make a phone with a cup and a string. I know that might sound a little bit silly, but you can talk to somebody in the other room with a cup and a string, and it's kind of like a phone. So we are going to learn how to make it today, and I want to see your creations. So let's get started. Here are the supplies you're going to need to make your cup phone. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to need 2 paper cups. You could also use plastic cups. You could even use a tin can, like what you would get like a can of beans in. You can use that. You need a little extra help from your parents if you're going to do that. So I recommend trying to find some paper cups or plastic cups. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. So please be careful with scissors. They are sharp. Make sure that your parents know you're using them, and be very careful while you use them. Next up, you're going to need a toothpick, or maybe a sharpened pencil, something that has a sharp point right on the end, but something that you can safely use at the same time. So, toothpick. And lastly, you are going to need some string. So find some string somewhere in your house, and then you'll have all your supplies, and we can get started. All right, so step number 1 on making our cup phones is going to be poking a hole on the very top, in the very middle of our paper cup. So you can use a toothpick to do this. Be careful that you don't put your finger on top of the sharp part of the toothpick, but hold it with pinching fingers like this, and poke a hole right in the middle of your cup. Just like that. You get a nice little hole. You want to do that on both cups. Okay, so you've poked a hole on both of your cups. You can set those aside. You need to make a long string. So depending on how much string you have, make sure you have enough. You want to make it long enough to where it could reach from one room to another room. So you want to make sure it's long enough. Maybe you can go measure where you want to be playing with your cup phones when you're done, and make sure that it's a long enough piece of string to reach. Once you've measured it out, you can take your scissors and cut just like that. And then we'll get on to our next step. Now, the third part of making our awesome cup phones is going to be taking the end of the string and putting it through the cup from the bottom of the cup through the top. Once your string is through the cup, just like this, going from the bottom, you want to take the end of the string and you want to tie it a couple knots in it. So let's start with the first knot. And now you're going to pull this end back down so it's nice and taut and it won't come out through the hole. The last part of making your cup phones is just going to be doing the same thing on the other cup. So again, we put our string through the bottom of the cup and we pull it through. You might have to twist the end if you have twine like me. Make sure it's tiny enough to get through the hole. Now we tie a knot on the other cup. Again, you might want to do 1 or 2 knots on top of the first knot that you make. So you just tie it again, but make sure that it tightens right where that other knot is. Boom, and that should be thick enough to not come back through. Don't pull this too hard or else you might rip a bigger hole than it should be, so be careful. One little hack about how to use your cup phone is going to be making sure it is nice and taut, which just means hold into a straight line like this. If you're trying to talk to each other and it's all kind of tangled up like this, it's not going to work so well. You're going to have to get far enough apart to where the string is nice and taut, but don't pull on it too hard again. That might break it, but nice and tight, just like this. We want to see you guys using your cup phones, so if you can, take some pictures of you using your cup phone, and then you can put them on Instagram if your mom or dad are on Instagram, and you can tag Vintage Kids EDH. Or you could email us a picture, which I've seen a couple of you do. Thank you so much. And you can email to kids@vintagegrace.org. Now, I wonder where I could use my cup phones. I brought my cup phone into a fort that I built. Are you guys able to build forts where you are at home? Oh my goodness, forts are so much fun. If you build a fort, please show us pictures. We want to see. You know what? Actually, I think we're going to give 100 tribbles to the person who can build the coolest, most creative fort. Send us a picture or a video of your fort, and we'll even put it on our next Kids on the Couch episode. All right, now, hey Becca, I think it's time for our lesson.
I think I'm getting a phone call. It's Miss Taylor. And you know what that means? She told me she would call me when it was time for the Bible lesson. So, we're gonna get started. So the Bible lesson today is in John chapter 20, verses 19 through 23. And here's what's going on. So, it had only been a few days since Jesus had died on the cross, and the disciples were really scared. So they went and they locked themselves in a house, and they were scared that the Jews were going to come after them too. So, but they heard some rumors that Jesus was alive. Apparently, Jesus appeared to some of the other disciples and to Mary. And so because of this, they were sitting and they were talking. Man, I wonder if that's true. Is Jesus alive? As they're talking about this, all of a sudden, Jesus appears. And he's standing right there in the house with them. Their first reaction is, it's a ghost. Imagine how scared they were. And you know what? They were also probably really scared because days before, they had abandoned Jesus when he was taken to be killed. They were very afraid. So they probably thought that when Jesus would appear to them, that he would have a lecture for them. But that's not what happened. Jesus says, "Peace to you." And he just wants to comfort the disciples. I'm here, I'm with you, and I'm alive. You know, that's important for us to remember today too, because we're gonna mess up and we make mistakes. But when we do, Jesus is there with arms open wide, and he loves us so much. So what happens next?
Jesus shows them the scars in his hands, and he shows them the scar on his side to show them, look, I'm real. I'm actually alive. I'm not a ghost. And then that's not where the story ends. Jesus tells them, I have accomplished my mission on earth. Jesus was sent to the earth by God on a mission to save the entire world from their sins. And he did it. He died, and 3 days later, he rose again. So then he tells the disciples, just as God sent me on a mission, I now am sending you on a mission. Jesus didn't want the disciples to just stay in this house and be afraid. He wanted them to go out and to live on mission. And this was his mission. He wanted them to tell everybody, to tell the whole world about the gospel, about what Jesus did on the cross. And you know what? Jesus sends us on this same mission today. It's our mission too, to tell all of our friends about this really, really good news. And you may be thinking as you're listening to this, is it really that important for me to tell my friends about the gospel? Okay, well, let me put it this way. Imagine if I told you that you could go to Disneyland for free, and every single person that you told would get to go to Disneyland for free with you. You would be so excited, and you would want to tell all your friends about this good news so that they could go to Disneyland for free too. Well, it's kind of similar with the gospel, but on a much more serious level. This is the best news that anybody will ever hear in their entire life, that God loves them, that their Creator wants a relationship with them, and he loves them so much that he sent his son to die so that they could be forgiven of their sins and have a relationship with them. But you know what, you guys? Sometimes we still get really scared to tell people. We're afraid that they're going to reject us or make fun of us. And you know what? It's true. God promises us that sometimes we will face persecution, and that's kind of scary. But you know what? Here's something really important I want to encourage you with. You are not alone, and that's why God gave us the Holy Spirit, so that when we were afraid, we could talk to him and we could say, God, I'm really afraid right now, and I don't even know what to say to my friend. And God is always with us, and he will give us peace and comfort. And that peace and comfort that he brings far outweighs the rejection that we may face from our friends. And even though our friends may sometimes reject what we have to say, that's still the most important thing that you could ever do, is tell them the gospel. So here's the big takeaway from the lesson today. Jesus is still alive today, and he has a mission for you, and he has a mission for me, and that's to share the good news with everybody that we meet. So that is all for the lesson today. But you know what? I have a phone call to make. I'm going to call Miss Tessa because she has some more stuff to tell you guys. Let's see. Miss Tessa, are you there?
Thanks, Miss Becca, so much for sharing that Bible story with us. Hey guys, are you ready for the riddle? I know I am. But before we do that, I'm going to give you some announcements, and that gives you some more time to go ahead and put your answers down in the comments below. So go ahead and answer that so we can add triples to the jar, and I'll give you a sneak peek to what our triple jar looks like in just a little bit. First, Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are doing bedtime stories with you guys. Someone from our team is going to be reading you a bedtime story, so make sure to be there for that. Next, Sunday curriculum is still happening, so make sure that you guys are getting your curriculum and your activities online on our website, and make sure that you're taking pictures of yourselves doing it, because guess what? We want to see those pictures. We want to add more tribbles to that tribble jar, but we can't do it unless we know that you're actually engaging in our curriculum and doing the activities. So make sure to post it on Facebook or email it to us at kids@vintagegrace.org. Next, FaceTime with friends. You guys, I said this last week and I mean it, and I'm saying it again this week. We miss you so much. And this is a way that we can still connect with you and talk with you even though we can't see each other in person. So have your parents sign you up for a time slot, and if they have a hard time finding that, they can email us with their questions at kids@vintagegrace.org as well. Okay, are you ready for the answer to the riddle? I'm excited about this one, if you can't tell. I'll tell you one more time what the riddle is, and then right after, I'll give you the answer, just as a refresher. Okay. What can speak with no tongue, and what can listen with no ears? What can speak but doesn't have a tongue, and what can listen but doesn't have any ears? It's a telephone, you guys. Like that phone that your parents use, or maybe you have a phone, I'm not sure. But it's a phone. You guys did an awesome job at guessing that answer, and I'm so glad that you put the answers down below so that we could add more tribbles to our tribble jar. So, in light of that, let's look and see how full it is. You guys, look at that. Oh my goodness. We're getting there. We're getting so close so that when we come back to church as a family, we can start off with a huge party, and that is so exciting. So we just want to let you know that we are so grateful for you, and thank you so much for coming and engaging with us and Kids on a Couch. We'll see you next week, and here's Miss Jen to say goodbye.
Hope you guys had fun. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, here's Kids on a Couch. Bye!